Before yesterday, 24 years have been going by. Everyone wondering, where's Asha? What's going on with this case? And then these warrants dropped yesterday, which shift everything towards a homicide. What does this tell you?
Well, the shift was clear once when properties were being searched, once the car was being towed off, people were trying to figure out what was happening. And so they recognized that they would release these affidavits and these search warrants this week. And so when you start piling through it, almost 100 pages of affidavits, you start going backwards. I mean, a lot of this information they had maybe a year and a half after. We're talking about the black trash bags that found her backpack in it. That was 2021. I mean, so that was 23 years ago. In an investigation, you're just attempting to connect the dots. You found her information in that backpack, but you also found things in that black trash bag that didn't belong to her. So now you start to do a DNA test for that information. That points to the Dedmans, not to the mother and the father, but to one of the daughters. And so now we start to try to have an interview with the daughters. They had interviews years ago. All of the details of this case are connected based on physical evidence that they found throughout this investigation. That vehicle was one of the other key points. That vehicle was identified as her being pulled in. Okay, so now we're trying to find a vehicle. This is all great investigative work, trying to follow the information where it directs you.
Well, obviously right now we're trying to find and try to read in between the lines here because certain things obviously can't be said until they go to court. But we heard something that this may involve somebody who's no longer with us. We know the person passed away in 2004. There's also allegations of concealment. Do we know that the Dedmans are somehow involved in this? Too early to say. Where do we stand right now as we're trying to figure out what happened with the limited information we have?
I mean, obviously, everyone that is involved in this case is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But if you're talking about the investigation, if you're talking about the affidavits, when a person a law enforcement officer attempts to get an affidavit or a search warrant, they are trying to get that search warrant based on the information that they have. So when they submit that information, a lot of the information is we're trying to either prevent a crime or we're trying to find information that shows that a crime has occurred. In this case, they said that there's information specifically to the Dedmans, to their daughters. One of the daughters, the DNA that they pulled said it was someone that was 13 years old at the time this crime would have occurred. They also talk about the vehicle, that it was an AMC Rambler. That AMC Rambler looks extremely similar to the car that was taken off the lot, similar to the car that she was said to be pulled into. So you connect all this information, the DNA plus the eyewitness of seeing that type of vehicle. All of those things are pointing to them. Not saying that someone is guilty or innocent, but we're saying if you're following the evidence, that evidence is pointing to, okay, we have to do further investigation regarding these individuals. If not the parents, for sure the daughters.
Speaking of evidence, how important is the role of this updated technology with genealogical data in proving either innocent or guilty?
I mean, it is extremely helpful because the way that you can not just pull the DNA and say, okay, it's someone in your family tree and it's not you. So at least that narrows down. It wasn't that individual that we thought. Years ago, the DNA may have just pointed to the father. And then it's like, well, I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. So at the end of the day, this is actually getting us to a point where they're able to try to narrow down what happened. But as you said in the open, it is pointing that they think at the time that the parents had something to do with the concealment. And right now, we just need more information. And every day trying to read through all the things that they've investigated, it's going to be a lot to try to unpack.
And real quick, as Jason mentioned, the genealogical data, is that why we think we've had this gap? Is just waiting for technology to get to a point where we can actually get more answers?
And I think the gap is just the time frame. You're talking about something that happened almost 25 years ago. And so if you're looking in the car, you know, when they pulled that car's been sitting in the heat for all these years. I saw a lot of forensic analysis talking about that the DNA, trying to find it inside of a car that's been sitting for 20 plus years may be extremely hard. And so knowing what they're looking for and finding it are two different things.